Alright, today what I'd like to do is talk about how to empty the black and the gray tank. When we were looking at getting an RV, I have to say this was one of the things I was a little worried about. I thought this was going to be a pretty difficult task, and it was a worry. So I'm here to tell you that it's actually quite easy to do. And actually I'm going to do it with one hand tied behind my back just to prove it. So first of all, what do we need for doing this task? So when I travel, I've got a little bag here with all my goodies. And these are the kind of things you'll need as you travel. You need kind of an adapter that is going to be used to attach your hose down to the sewer inlet. And the way it's made, it will fit different sizes. You may need some kind of gizmo to help you open the cap on the sewer inlets. And this is a cheap one and works really well. You're going to need some kind of hose. This is a hose I got on Amazon. It extends to about 25 feet. It takes absolutely no space. You kind of want your own dedicated hose when you're out camping for sewer stuff, so this works great. You're going to need gloves. And in here somewhere I got some Clorox or Lysol. Alright, well, here's our tank situation for the day. We just came back from a trip. We stayed out a couple of nights. We stayed at Cracker Barrel in our son's driveway. And you can see the gray and black tank are roughly half full. As you can see, the gauges don't really work too well. Fresh tank says it's full, which it's impossible. It's pretty nearly empty. When you empty the tanks, you want to make sure there's sufficient water in the black tank so that everything can drain out. You're going to drain that first, and afterwards you'll flush the tank, and then you'll drain the gray tank. So what about black tank care? What you need to remember is water is your friend. If there's not a lot of water in there, things are going to stick. This is probably more important than anything else. You know, they sell pods and digestive enzymes and whatever, and those may help, but ultimately if there's no water in there, nothing is going to work. So before we leave on a trip, we always have at least half a gallon to maybe a gallon of water in there to get things going. So as you're traveling and you're doing your business, there's already water there. Nothing's going to get stuck. It's all moving around, flushing around. It's going to break down and all that. And then when you flush, you have to make sure you have sufficient water in your black tank. So let's say you went on an overnight trip. Maybe your tank is at 20-25%. Before you drain it, add water so you're at least in the 35, 40, maybe even 50% range. So as things drain, it'll work out much better. Alright, so let's get to it. So I'm lucky enough to have a sewer clean out at my house, and I can use that to drain the tanks when we come home. It's also a great way to practice before you go out camping. So first thing we're going to do is going to open this. Now this is already loosened up a little bit, but if it was tight, this is where that orange little gizmo will really be useful. Next, you're going to put your adapter. Make sure it's, you know, pretty well tight. Then you're going to attach your hose, and you just click like that. And we're going to go back to the van. Alright, so here we are. This is the waste outlet for the van. As you can see, this is not standard. The cap that Coachman puts on here is almost impossible to remove. So I bought this on Amazon. It's super easy to remove. There's also this clear spacer that I added. That's also not standard, but I think it's really useful because you can kind of see how things are draining and when it's on and off. Over here you have the black sewage or handle for the black tank, and then on the other side over here you have the gray handle. So gray is for gray water, which is sink and shower, and then black is for toilet. Alright, so let's get going. Take that little cap off, and then you just attach the hose like that, and then pretty much we're going to be ready to go. So first thing off, let's get rid of the black, and there it goes. Probably shouldn't be doing this if you're eating lunch or dinner, so maybe watch it a little bit later. And there it goes, and it's almost done. Now what you want to do is, you want to kind of help things slow down like this. And looks like we're about done. What we're going to do is we're going to close the valve, and then what you want to do is actually flush the tank, black tank again, once, twice, however long it takes until everything comes out clear. So this is where you go over here, and you've got all your connections. So you want to do the black tank flush. So I'm going to turn the water on. So let's get inside and let's see what the progress is. As you can see, black tank is empty. We're gonna let that puppy fill up. You don't want to overflow your black tank, otherwise it's all going to come out of the toilet, and that'd be nasty. So these are some things that people can buy for tank care. I use this every, I don't know, month or two. If I go on long trips, I'll put this stuff in there. Supposedly it helps break things down. I'm going to use this tonight to see if this helps clean maybe the gauges. So you're supposed to put this when the tank is empty, and then fill it with water, and then wait a day and then dump it again. So I'm going to try that out and see if it helps down the long term. And then I use this to clean my toilets. It doesn't affect bacteria growth and all that in there. You don't ever want to put Lysol in your toilet. There you go. It's time to shut that off. Alright, well this is our first flush. Tank's at close to 45-50%. Let's see how that looks. It's pretty clear. Yep, looks like I got all the goodies out of there. Pretty happy with that. So we'll let that finish off. Same thing as before, you know. Down the hill goes. Looks like we're nothing else left in there. We're going to close the black. You always want to make sure the valve is closed before you drain your gray tank. So let's go to the other side. And here comes the gray. Now, it's not really dirty water, right? It's going to be soap, basically. Soapy water. We don't do dishes in here much. So this will take longer to drain. The gray tank is lower to the ground compared to the black tank. It's just not so much force coming out, so it takes a little bit longer. So while we'll wait, let me show you what's here. So when you travel, you know, I don't bring 40 feet of hose. So of course, Coachman has this little storage area here. Now, it doesn't come with anything when you buy the so I found this hose on Amazon. It fits perfectly. It extends to around 10 feet in size, which is plenty. When you're at a campsite, you're not going to be far away from a sewer inlet. So this is a perfect thing to have. I will put links to all the stuff I'm using below in the comments and whatnot, so you know what to use, or if you want to get the same stuff. Alright, there you go. So it's right next to the propane. Alright, see how we're doing here. So going down. But once you're done with that, then that's pretty much it. You're done with the thing, you just close it up. After I disconnect everything, I like to Lysol it all out. I just liberally spray all that junk on there, kill whatever germs may be on there, and then it helps probably keep some of the smell out, especially, and so next time you use it, it's not going to be some dirty thing. Now when you're traveling, you're at a campsite, I consider everything to be filthy. So I wear 2 gloves. Sometimes I'll even change my gloves. The hose I use for the black tank drainage or for the flush is different than the hose I'll use for to fill up my freshwater tank. Because you go to a campsite, people are disgusting. And I've seen people put their sewage hoses on picnic tables. It's just nasty. So assume everything is dirty and try to be really careful. If you're at home, I Lysol this stuff like crazy, so I probably could eat up this stuff, but anyway, so I'm not too concerned at home. All right, well, I hope this was useful, informative, and I hope it gives you a little confidence for your travels or your decision to buy a van or not. It's really easy. If you can practice at home, maybe you have, like I do, a sewer inlet, great. If not, what I would do is probably go to a camp midweek when it's not too busy. Maybe wait until 1 or 2 o'clock after everyone's left already, and then you can take your time doing it, because if you go when it's busy, it is a little stressful. People are waiting behind you and all that. So, well, happy traveling and have a great day.